we are trading our own inner market as much as the one that we see on that screen, or for the old floor traders, the one you were, on the floor. I know I've been in Chicago on the floor there. I've also been in New York, not on the NYSE floor, but I've been on the NYMEX floor. I've had clients there. And we're just trading an inner market, I think, as much, if not more so, than what we see on the screen. And the more and more that you realize this, the more you realize that you're trading your own inner market, and the more you understand about your inner market, the better chance you have in sustaining your success and not riding that crazy P&L roller coaster. And I will tell you that some tips for your inner market. We think of the market itself out there on the screen as their support and resistance on the chart. Some of us think of it more as supply and demand. That's how I think of it. Or we apply all kinds of technical analysis to trading. And guess what? You can do the same thing to your inner market, because there are certainly forces of supply and demand and resistance and support in your own inner market. And if you can understand how that works for you, because that's what's actually interacting, your inner market is what's interacting with the market you see on the screen. And I'll say that's what really represents those successful clients I mentioned who come to me already successful. Not the ones that I can help become successful, but the ones who are already successful. They understand, they already had a sense of their inner market. And that's really that's one of the big differences. They may not articulate it that way. They may not call it that, but that's what's happening for them. They've been able to sort of figure it out on their own to a certain degree. It's hard to do. Not many people do get there, but it does happen. With that, John, let's free up the time for questions. That's my last slide there.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. There were a few things that you wanted that you mentioned that I just want to kind of go over in a kind of a speed round thing. First of all, thanks for calling us normal. We are traders. When you were talking about how equity curves kind of they go up and then they kind of grind higher and they kind of fall fast. It's kind of how markets work, right? I mean, it always seems like bull markets take the stairs and bear markets take the elevator down. It just seems there's enough paradoxes in trading. There seems to be a bit of a parallel.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's actually a quick little neurobiological reason for the stairs up, elevator down. There's an area of the brain that's there's different areas that seek patterns and that kind of turn on more when there's a pattern. And what happens is when that pattern breaks, like if you're seeing a market going up, you lock onto that as the pattern. When that pattern breaks, a different part of the brain, kind of the fight or flight area, kicks on. And then what happens is we have a very strong reaction. So people freak out when that pattern breaks. In my opinion, yeah, that's the neurobiology of why people, the panic sets in much faster than the market ticking up. And so you'll see, that's why I believe that we see the stairs up, elevator down in markets and in P&L.
The one other thing you mentioned was, if you get down a certain percentage of realized profits during a day, it seems to accelerate after a certain point. And I tend to call that in myself. I call that when my switch gets flipped.
Yeah.
And you got to know outside my strategy.
Yeah, and and it's like you said, John, you got to know where that switch is and when it's going to get flipped, and try and recognize when it is in the process of getting flipped. Really, that's the game.
And then there's always the what if factor. Like you get to that point and you're like, well, but what if the next trade's going to make me whole again? You get to that what if factor. It's time to walk away.
Time to walk away. Time to do some journaling. Time to exactly. There's a lot of things you can do in that situation. But yeah, you're right. Time to step away.